Hello everyone, let's begin. This time I was being extra conscious, extra scared before starting the class because the lesson that I'm about to share with you all has transformed me to an extent that I cannot explain. It has led to spiritual evolution, evolution in a complete sense has actually properly got initiated just now because I did something. I wouldn't say I did because the divine energies, almost all of it, worked together to make this happen, and I could sense it. All the divine powers that I once possessed when I was not polluted or I was put into this chaos that was around me, within the mind, around me, all those things were cleared completely. And it is for the first time. Though I had a habit of saying stay in the center, be centered, come back to center, I used to use the word center for a long time, but being centered, what it exactly means, the actual meaning of it, I realized just by living, by experiencing it for the first time, because I walked this path. So, it took me a while to make this video because I found it to be so precious that I didn't know where to begin, how to end, how to let the words flow. And like every single time, I would like to surrender to the process and just begin wherever I can. And let's see where it's going. So, Carl Jung is one person whom I've taken references from him, his studies, the words, the experiments he used to conduct when he used to be with us. So, let's begin with this line. Do you guys believe that evolution is a choice? Or is it a natural occurring? If we want to stop it, well, will we be able to stop it? Or is it inevitable? Just like just like the destruction happens, something takes birth, lives, grows older, then gets decayed, dies. And this is just the life, that's what we observe about a human being. But then behind it all, there's an evolution of the consciousness that's happening, which is not visible for the five, visible and cannot be experienced through the five senses alone. You will have to think, the mind is involved, and something called, and for that you got to accept something called the psyche, what Jung used to call psyche. So instead of calling it a life, a living being, or a soul, a spirit, he chose to call it psyche. And as you delve deep into into the studies, the lessons, and everything that he's going to uh, give to us, you'll also feel very convenient and very might fall in love with the word psyche, archetypes, and so many other things. Yin and yang, you guys might have heard. And in other certain religions and everything, you guys say about the divine feminine and divine masculine as well. Everything. And the union. So in the last video also, I told you that we crave for the sense of belonging. Everybody wants to be whole, so complete, feel so complete that they don't have to search in the external world for the other half. Because in appearance, there are clearly two genders, right? Because just by mere external appearance itself, we can divide humans into two categories, like male, female. So it's extremely easy, very easy for humans to assume that when a female meets a male, who like both of them, if they are compatible with each other, when they are together, that's called the divine union. But no, within Young says, I've experienced, so many other people have experienced also, that the union must happen within first in order for it to become a reality outward. And if you need to attract the right people in your life, your right partner for that matter, to be more precise, you got to let this union happen within yourself first. So the psyche, which is us, the soul, the human, the living being, the spirit that we are, is composed of these two archetypes, he says, the divine masculine, the divine feminine. So he called the divine masculine as animus and the divine feminine as anima. And the explanation, the simplest one that we can give is that what is, I wrote it actually. So anima is the feminine aspect in men, and animus is the masculine aspect that's present in women. One of it is actually representing the emotional depth, which is the feminine one, and the other one is the rational structure. So if we are somehow able to unite both of this using a process called integration, then you will be able to experience the wholeness within first. And for the first time in your existence, you will know what peace actually is, how peace feel like. Because you will no longer be needy, you will no longer be begging for love, hoping for it, wishing for something to manifest or come to you in the future. That beggar face, that pathetic state will be gone once and for, it will be gone forever. You will not ever fall back to that state again, where you will be craving. And the explanation he gives, until the integration happens, until this divine union happens within one's being, what happens is we are going to project our concepts to other people. So if you've been constantly failing in relationships in the past, if you have like more than 3, 4, 5 genuine love stories and all of them ended up hurting yourself and it didn't succeed, then there is an explanation for that. Because in the process of evolution, you've been actually doing the projection until now. If you have found your twin flame, then this is not applicable for you. But if you haven't reached that state yet, if you haven't met your other the twin flame, your anima or animus in the external world, and had a physical contact with them. Physical contact, I didn't mean anything deep, just the proper interaction with them, where the universe have, through magical powers like serendipity or synchronicity or divine timing or whatever you want to call it, when you reach this level of maturity after n number of failed relationships in the past, and when you are actually fed up and tired and not willing to commit to anyone else or trust anyone else in the future, when you're in that state, when you're like hopeless to the core, nature will bless you with that one single meeting wherein an external contact happens between most of the times opposite genders, because I think nature loves it that way. Will have a very random meeting. Both of them might have a sudden urge inside, uh, feeling like helping the other person or having an empathetic or telepathic connection with each other. Even they themselves won't be aware of why it is happening, why all of a sudden. You'll be feeling extra concerns for them, you'll feel like helping them, and then they meet They get to talk for some time, or maybe just a day or something. And then that will end up changing their lives forever. That's exactly what's going to happen. And then you will start finding out the meaning of words like alchemy, alchemist, the philosopher's stone, and everything. Because a real alchemist can touch you just once and leave you transformed completely. Yes. And it has to be your exact partner also. That's important. So, before the union of the inner feminine and masculine energies, anima and animus, happen within, before they integrate and result in making you whole, this kind of a meeting happens in the external world as well. And know this, you have been manifesting that through your sufferings. So, the suffering must reach a peak, and nature actually senses that threshold. Once you reach the threshold, the nature will conspire to make it happen, I would say. It will use all kinds of magical tools it has to make that happen for you. So, as I was saying, evolution is not optional. Mm. Whether you want it or not, that will happen. That's how nature is made. That's how the universe works. It is not against growth, it will help you grow, it will lead to evolution. And I'll share you some amazing tips that you can use once you find out your partner, this counterpart, the one in the opposite sex who's going to help you grow, the white one. You'll have a tendency to fall back into the old patterns and start expecting things from others, as you were doing in the previous relationships where projection was happening actively, wherein you will be idealizing partners, and when they do not reciprocate with that, you will get disappointed and heartbreaks will happen, and then break up, definitely, for sure. So, mm what happens is you might have a tendency to fall back to the old patterns, and as you are so hurt and so mature already, you got to trust me in this one, you will be able to overcome those tendencies, and you will manage to or learn to suffer in silence, because suffering in silence is the most important part in this evolution process. Like Jesus, or the gurus the rishis we had, when they had to integrate something that's like causing chaos within the internal systems, they used to go and isolate themselves and never, not like going to a party or dancing around, no. Silence. Silence is where this growth is going to happen. So you can choose a place, a mountain. Yeah, in all the times it used to be mountains or any other places of that sort, but now you got your room. You can choose isolation in there, wherever you are, with the doors closed, with you and yourself. And you will be able to integrate this. So, there's only two things I would suggest you to do. First thing, understand that yes, every freaking thing that you ever wanted in your partner will be present in that person, but choose not to expect anything from them. It's a sin to do that, because they are fighting a battle that's even more intense than yours. And another interesting fact is that during the process of integration, you will have this sense of somebody being next to you always. You'll literally, physically also, you'll feel somebody's presence around you, and most of the times it will make you conscious and sometimes even scared. Because in your private moments while taking bath or doing things like that, you will experience an extreme discomfort in having someone present around you during such moments, right? But there's no escape. Even in such moments, you will have this feeling inside that there's somebody with you. It's actually a result of the integrations that's taking place within. So, the first thing you need to remind yourself is that be grateful, don't expect anything back from them, because the work has to be done alone, it has to be done by you. So don't have any expectations. That's expectations is like comes from the immature state, where that you were doing in your past relationships, where projection was happening, where you were trying to idealize your partner, and the same reciprocation or resonance is not going to be coming from the other side, you're going to get disappointed, and that was natural, right? That thing will not happen here. And is that once it's integrated through the self awareness that you're going to get from the solitude that you're going to choose to be in, you will let go of the victim mentality that you've been carrying. So far, every time something bad happened in your relationships, you had a tendency to blame yourself or blame them. No, you have decided to dwell in the darkness. You have decided to choose depth and truth. So once you have decided to choose depth and truth, there's only one thing that's going to come to your life, and that's inevitable, and that is evolution. And in that evolution process, your consciousness is going to transform itself into a state where it will no longer remain in needy. It will not be needing anything from outside, no reciprocation from the other side or anywhere, no validation from others. It's going to be complete, and it's going to remain as peace itself. So in this process, allowing the negative thinking or the old patterns that you used to feel like you are suffering or something, all these things will be gone. And if you need clarity on something, you will speak up. And that's the best part. Before, the hesitation used to be so hard, that you will not be able to do that, but you will do that. Now let's discuss about some random things. The qualities the feminine possesses and the masculine has. Most of the times the feminine is so emotional, and if they are authentic to the core, then they will be not scared to express anything out in the world as well. But the masculine is taught to hide things, and in the feminine, the rational side will be like that switch will be always off, whereas in his side the emotional things will be like forcefully kept close. So when the meeting happens, they will act like mirrors for each other and see in themselves the parts that they were hesitant to heal, and they will decide to heal that for themselves. Then what will happen? They'll become complete. So most of the times these twin flame connections, the meetings, these things might not. I'm not saying not always, but might not. We cannot guarantee ever that these things will continue. These people will like live together or be together like what we see in the external world. That is not the case here. So you cannot like expect anything like that. What you can do is, whether you after the divine touch happens, after the alchemy happens, both whether they part ways or stay together, they will remain as whole beings, unbreakable. And that's the best part about it. And once the process is complete, you will have utmost compassion towards yourself. You will not blame yourself with regret, attack yourself with negative things, or nothing of that sort. No low vibrational things. And what Nikola Tesla have been trying to teach us for a very, very long time, we might have seen that quote everywhere, right? Like, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Until this moment, you must be just reading, you must have seen it somewhere, but you will start experiencing it for real once the integration is complete. And after that, all those divine powers that were lost when you were busy chasing peace outward in the world or in other people. During that phase, all of those powers will come back. Your dreams will start becoming so vivid and so realistic to an extent that sometimes it might scare you. But don't be scared. Great power comes with great responsibilities, and being scared is not an option. And you will stand firm, you will stay centered for the first time. You might have been, expecting someone else to guard you in the world so far. All those things will be gone, and you will become that guardian for yourself. All these powers that were hidden inside will come out and stay this time. As Anna, what I have to tell you is just refrain from flowing passively in the river of emotions. It's very easy to flow along with the river of emotions, right? But it's going to take you up, down, make you hit on the walks, on the sides. On my goodness, it's going to be very painful. So just step aside, get out from the water, sit somewhere on the shore, and choose to observe. That's what great people did. They chose to do the experiments on their own lives. And what happens when you know, back in the days in school also, have you guys, we might not have killed frogs, but our parents must have done that in the experimentation, in the laboratories for the biology practicals. We might have dissected cockroaches. Do you remember? Dissecting cockroaches, seeing their nervous system and everything. So, whenever you are doing such experiments, what happens is you dissect things, you choose, try to understand what is happening, like we did in the process of integration. When you are having deep sexual desires or attraction or something towards the person who comes to transform you, then you don't reciprocate to any of those. You just take it all in and ask yourself, what is it trying to teach you? And that question is going to change your life forever, because you'll find the answer when the because the intensity will be too high that the universe will have no choice but to answer your questions. So what as we were saying, when you're trying to do an experiment or conduct an experiment on something, you dissect it, you end up killing the object on which we are conducting the experiment, right? All the cockroaches were dead, you guys remember, in classroom. The frogs were dead when we tried to dissect it, but we got a deeper understanding about the topic, but the object died. Likewise, when we are experimenting or trying to observe by sitting at the shore, instead of choosing to passively flow in the river of emotions, while observing, while trying to study all these things, you might feel like, what? Like falling for someone and being depressed, and all those things were lively. Yet I was involved in it, I was experiencing consciously. But in this case, as I am learning it by choosing to observe it from a distance, I feel like I'm making it lifeless. This is just a doubt. It will arise for sure during the process of integration, but trust me, once you reach the end goal, you will feel complete and the most alive. In, you know, since your birth to this point, this will be the most alive like sensation that you're experiencing after the process. So trust me on this. Try to do it all. And there's another thing, when the meeting happens outward, right? And then I told you that the presence, you will be able to feel the presence of that person always around you. During that phase also, there's one constant realization that will stay with you. That in this process or in this journey of evolution, you, even if you're able to, you might be able to lie to yourself sometimes saying, oh, I am healed now, I'm okay. You might be able to lie to yourself, but not to the other one. They will see you much more clearly, as if they are a mirror to your soul. A mirror that's specifically designed for yourself. And then they will show you truth and truth alone. And if if you're willing to integrate the other part and whatever that soul was like showing you, whichever parts they exposed during the process of the exchange that happened, you will end up healing yourself. So be brave and integrate these two parts and experience the feeling of being whole. Everybody, every single human being deserve it. And with these process, the shadow integration, the integration of anima and animus within, and then being able to become the vessel or the empty slate in which the divine would choose to write. The divine, the Almighty, when He chooses to write, He'll write truth only. So there will be moments when you'll have dreams or the glimpses of the future also. All these powers will return back to you. Do it, you're just maybe one or two steps away from being complete. So don't hesitate, just go for it.